Right, welcome to Fishing Squad. Well, it's nearly start this morning, it's 4 AM. I didn't realise what time it gets light out. We're going down to Rockmark, Deepwater Rockmark. Low tide's about 6. I'm going to fish it down a good hour and a half. It takes about 20 minutes to get down there. And then back up probably 2, maybe 3 hours. Got 2 rods out, with wire traces on for Conger. I lost Conger the other weekend. I don't want that to happen again. There may be a chance of a loss or a taupe as well. But my main target, if the bulls and taupe don't show up, is Conger eels. Fishing with a big 8-tail pennel rig. I think we'll stand a chance with mackerel, squid baits. When it gets light, we'll do a bit of lure fishing for pollock. Maybe try and catch a wrasse, because I've got some lugworm as well I can use on this other rod I've got, this carp rod. I've got 2 beach casters for big species. The carp rod for catching pollock and maybe wrasse, because I've got some lugworm left over from yesterday. So yeah, let's get down to the mark and we'll see how we get on. It's at final descent. You've got to be careful this time of year, you get some heavy dew in spring around here. Obviously, like always, just take your time when you're coming down to a place like this. We have got light southwest. Well, I think it's southwest to start with, and it's going to come around to southeast, which just blow it into rocks. If you can hear the sea. There's a mild swell on, mild, it's fishable. This is how you want it. They're all best sessions on these rock marks. Don't want to be touch and go. You should be down there on that. I mean, I've been coming down here for years. I know where every single wave, in every single conditional break, 99% of the time, there's always that one rogue wave that could catch you out though. So you need to edge on the side of caution. There's no room for egos down here, because you'll just get, you know, you always think safety first, because anything could go wrong. I mean, everybody bangs on about what footwear to wear down here on the rocks on the Limb Peninsula, on these deep water rock marks especially. I have the cheapest pair of wellies you'd ever know. They're just Dunlop from Sports Direct, they cost me £11. But when these rocks are wet, you get grip on them. I don't know whether that's because it's 17 stone that's in them, or if they genuinely are useful. So we're just going to go down final bit of this descent, and then we'll be on the mark. It's looking fishy, no doubt about that. You can hear the sea. Got a nice bit of white water edge, which can be useful for, well, pollock like that. But obviously having that bit of swell can make it easier when you're on your own for landing fish sometimes, or it can make it harder. It just depends. Because you can like beach them away a wave. So we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna put my head around this corner to see what the wind's like. It's light. It's not as heavy wind as what I thought it was. We did have quite a bit of southeasterly yesterday, which put some rate swell on, like, really. But it's fishable, like I say. Perfect conditions, I'd say. So yeah, we'll get down and then we'll discuss what tackle we're using and what have you. Right, well, we're here, obviously. I've just got everything tackled up. It took me about 20 minutes to get tackled up. So on left hand rod, which I've got, is my Kumu Selena. What is it? It's, I think it's 12 or 13 foot beach caster. It doesn't really matter. It's at least a 12. Abu 7000, loaded with £30 line straight through to my rig, which is it's about approximately, this particular rig, it's a running ledger rig, but I've got a swivel. I've got a 4 foot length, well, 4 or 5 foot length of £150 line. It's like a rubbing leader, that, really. I've got my weight on a swivel down to, let me just, right. But weight on a swivel with a buffer bead to a snap swivel to a length of wire clipped onto my snap spool, £100 coated wire, it's only 7-strand wire, that'll be fine. I've got a pennel rig with squid and mackerel on. Now other rod, I've got a pulley rig. Now the thing about a pulley rig is, I'm just trying a different rig on each rod at the moment. I mean, I've made running ledger rigs before, I've already got some in my bag, so I just thought I'll try a running ledger rig on one and a pulley rig on the other one. The advantage of a pulley rig really off here, if you're trying to cast a bit, you don't really need to cast far. A 40 or 50 yard cast is sufficient, but with a pulley rig obviously it enables you just to wang it a little bit further. It's the same setup pretty much, other than obviously that bit where my weight's tied on the other rig, it's where your trace is tied on this one. Got a full Joey mackerel on this one, so let's try. So basically what the only difference is with this one really is I have a shorter piece of wire of about 12, usually 8 to 12 inches. It's a bit longer than I normally have it that. And then I've got I just so happen to have £200 mono as a rubbing leader on this one, about 4 or 5 foot. So pennel rigs are for casting. I always use them when I'm fishing off a beach, pennel rigs, but it doesn't really matter what rig you use off here. It really don't. You want to have a running ledger rig or a pulley rig. It don't make a difference which one. Really, they both catch fish. So we'll see which one does best anyway on today. It's not as rough as I thought it would be. I'm disappointed. Tide's still dropping off. It's about 4:30 now, 4:45 time. I can take my head torch off, I think, finally. So we're going to get these banged out, make a brew, and hopefully we'll have a fish to show in a bit. Fingers crossed. It looks Conger eely. Both rods are fishing now. I've backed the drag off on both, and I've just put the ratchet on just to give me an indication, because I'm going to be lure fishing. With carp rod in a minute, so we can get some pollock out. So I'll just back drag off like I say. Always back your drag off, especially if you're not going to be fishing off the top of your rods. I don't like the taupe. That's the only thing that's going to take your rod in off here, a taupe. I don't like a taupe to run. I'm not one of them fans letting it run. I mean, the rig I've got on, it's probably is aimed at letting them run, you know, pennel rig. But usually I'd just fish a single up. But I thought I'm going to fish big, really big today, not just, you know. And if I can get something else out, like some fresh pollock, I might try that for bait as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, a couple of things when you're fishing for big fish. You want to make sure your tripod's stable, quite low down. You don't want it right up in air with butt cups being used. You want it stable, lower down than what you'd have it off a beach. I mean, we're fishing quite at height here at the minute, so you've got enough height to get out. With 12-foot beach casters, you've got enough height to get out of over any snags, over anything that's, you know, any kelp beds that are close in and stuff like that up against the rock. So yeah, rod's fairly high up, but rod rest not so high up. Well, the rods are fairly high up because we're fishing high up. I mean, you can fish close. You're probably able to fish close to water's edge at low tide. The sea's nowhere near as rough as what I thought it was going to be, and the wind's dropped. The breeze that we had when we were coming down. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to tackle a rod up now. I'm going to have a cup of tea, and then tackle a rod up for spinning. Right hand rod. It didn't develop into it. It hasn't developed into it yet, but it looked like something picked bait up and moved it. Took a bit of line off it reel. It definitely wasn't current. Like, just tackle this carp rod up. Just a lump of cheapest chips Dexter wedge off eBay. So I'm going to go have a few casts with this, but it looked like it was going to take off then, that fish. I don't know. So I don't drag up too tight on this reel. Alright, we're gonna have a few casts so we can get a pollock out. That's if we don't get called into action first. Yeah, so I've just got a 2.5 pound test curve carp rod with what, a 7 to 8 gram Might be a 10 gram Dexter wedge. So, right, go have a few casts with this. There's the baits we're using now, 3/4 of mackerel on that. It's a big mackerel. Last reel in, second bait up this on both rods. The rod on right that had a full mackerel on, it completely just gone. Rod on left had a bit of a bite on it, a bit of a tappety bite as well. Shortly after the bite that I had on the one on the right. It looked like a dogfish bite, but most of the bait was still intact on that one, the fillet and the squid, so I don't know what to make of it so far. I've just put fresh baits on. They were out for about 40 minutes, the first ones. I'm going to bang this out now. So it's cup of tea time. Yeah, I've had a few casts with lure rod. The reason why I'm using a 2.5 pound test cave carp rod is because I thought it would be rougher than this. I wish I brought my blue Garcia Devil down instead. I thought it would be rougher, and I thought because it's 12 foot long it might make a bit of a difference to, well, be more suited to competition, should I say. So we've got ripping currents at right at the moment. Baits are right out inside, well off at rock face, you know, not keeping them out inside it is. I prefer it when it's pulling to the left personally. We didn't lose any gear either on that last bait change. Got everything back. Seem to be doing well with gear, tackle losses lately. I think if we have a few more casts with lure rod, if I don't catch anything, I'm going to switch and to using small hooks and lugworm to see if we can get pouting and pork off here on lug. Or wrasse, or rockling. Might try one of them as fresh bait, I don't know, we'll see. Not much, there's not much happening with rods at the minute, there's just been baits just ripping to right. So, I want to capitalise on this dawn, you know, still, the sun's not quite up yet. Even though it probably looks lighter on video than it actually is. I want to capitalise on it. I'll be happy with just one fish and eel the huss. I mean, we'll be spoilt if we've got a taupe, I think. Still think it's quite early on in the season for taupe. But you never know. It can happen. But based on that bass that we caught the other day, it didn't have a single sand eel in it or anything. It had nothing in its stomach. It was wet. I might have a bit of a bite left hand rod here, I don't know. No, maybe not. Yeah, based on that bass, it had nothing in its stomach, no sand eels, no crabs. It just makes you think that the mackerel aren't here yet either. Obviously when mackerel turn up in the numbers, that's when taupe were a more viable target, if you like. I'm happy with a decent eel or a decent mollusk though today. Anything. Don't think we'll get a dogfish on them baits. They're too big. I've caught them before on a big baits though, so you don't rule it out. I mean, they are a blank saver sometimes, but most of the times they can be a nuisance. I like them though, but when I'm targeting other fish, I'd rather not catch them. I caught enough of them on Friday. Oh. Yeah, hopefully something shows up. So I'm gonna. I'll have a few more casts with spinner, then switch to a rig with lugworm on small hooks on this other rod. It's probably the best, safest way of fishing off here with small hooks using lugworm, because I doubt you'll get a taupe on lugworm or an eel or anything that's going to snap you. But I'm just going to put size 6 hook on with. So my right hand rod will doing some dodgy movements then. Size 6 hook on with lugworm. Nice to get a decent ball and wrasse out. Like I say, I want to target them this year. Big time. I used to catch a lot when I was a kid. So I used to use limpet for bait a lot. But I reckon that, I think it's just shy of £5 Welsh short caught record. I could be wrong, someone might want to correct me in the comments. I'm going to try and beat that this year. I'm not bothered about registering or anything like that, I just want to see if it's feasible to beat it. Loaded some £20 line onto the spool of that carp reel. So I only had £15 line on. We're just going to use a simple, it's just like a 3 loop rig, a loop at top with a swivel on it. loop it middle for hook length with a few beads on a size 6 cameras on hook. And then the loop at bottom with a weak link on for your lead. And then I've got some lugworm here I'm going to bait up with what I dug yesterday morning, what I didn't use at Porth Coleman. I've got a bite on my left hand rod I think. I'm going to reel it in a minute on my other rod. I'm going to cast this out. I think it's only a doggy, if it's on. The torch has been bouncing away, on and off. So I'm going to get this baited up and cast out, and hopefully something like a porcod, pouting or ball and wrasse turns up. Obviously I think if we get a porcod or a pouting we might use it as fresh bait. Definitely a pouting, we'll see anyway. Crevices in rock are just perfect, aren't they? Got a rod rest holder. Should be fine that, just give it a good test. A ball and wrasse could give a decent bite, then it could pull rod in initially. If you get a decent one on it, could. So I won't cast it out too far, I've cast it out about 30 yard if that. So we'll see if we can get out on it. I'm going to reel in though my 2 big rods and get them rebaited now. About an hour after low, I've had one decent bite on this wrasse rod, but I missed it. Well, I didn't connect with a fish. There was no worm left on my hook either. It was right plucky, like, you know, like a typical wrasse bite. I've lost the rig on my right hand rod on bottom on big rods. Every time you put macro fillet on, you're getting doggy bites. You're not connecting with any fish. It's a slightly smaller side than what I'd like to fish, to be fair. Let's see if we can get something out. It's not looking good at the moment, but we've still got time. First fish of the day. Doggy. Leave your bait out there long enough and they will engulf the hook. It didn't even feel like I'd hooked it. Sorry, it didn't even feel like it were on. But it is on. Yeah, in one of my other videos I talked about the snap clip that I just clip off. That you can't do it when you've got a pennel hook on. So the barb's gonna have to come back on its then with pliers, unfortunately. But it'll be fine. You know, I don't even think the barb's gone. Yeah, it's in, it's quite well in that. So we're gonna get him unhooked and get him put back. Not a big deal, but the blank's avoided, I suppose. Look at markings on him. Got some really nice markings on him. Look at that. Nice fish. I just wound in, got it up to the surface. This what I thought was a fish. Thought it were a bullus. It were a bloody spider crab. First one I've ever had off here, that. I just didn't quite make it down to it like it dropped off on the ledge down here. About the time I'd put my rod down. By the time I put my rod down, it had gone. Wave had took it. Oh well. I don't think that's a good sign. So we'll have another bait up and see what we can do. Fish of the day. Nice little ball and wrasse, I think. Oh, I'm crap at identifying these unless they've got obvious colours on them, like you know, like your traditional coloured ball and wrasses. You know, that are really colourful. So I'm going to say here's a ball and wrasse, small ball and wrasse. Not bad. Give a good bite. I've run out of lugworm now. I did put a bit of mackerel strip on with this last time. Literally, in the space of half hour, I've had a dogfish, a spider crab and a ball and wrasse. Well, I suppose spider crab don't count because I didn't touch it. So I'm going to get this ball and wrasse unhooked and get him back. They can be a bit stunned, so I might have to put him in rock pool for a couple of seconds. Just let him recover. That's the first spider crab I've ever had off here. I've had a lobster and an edible crab. I'm getting a bite again. It doesn't look like a doggy. It looks like a crab again. I thought it were a bullus because, you know, because at resistance, you know what crabs like, bringing through water, it's just like dead weight. I thought it was hanging up in water like a bullus likes to do. It might be a dogfish bite actually. This is a bit rattly. It stopped. It looks. I've got a bite on that little rod as well. I might have. I don't know. We'll see. See what happens. Yeah, I have. I've got a bite on the little rod. I'm going to have to put you down. I'll turn you off a minute. Just give me a sec. Pouting, but then I've also got a dogfish. So the pouting's dead. It's been hooked on a size 6 hook. And then a doggy's smashed it. I don't know if it's safe to drop down here at the moment. Got to be very, very careful. I think he's going to drop in before I get there, to be fair. It's not worth it for a doggy, is it? Worth it for a doggy. Right, so I've got a doggy that's took a pouting that I've hooked. So there's your dogfish, there's a pouting. Imagine if that had been a taupe though, what's the trouble? That pouting can go on bigger on actually for bait. Well, that's 2 dogfish, 1 wrasse. I've got 2 foot pair, so 1 on that one. Pouting and a dogfish. And I suppose we can count the spider crabs and that, but I don't really count them anyway. But because it's the first one I've ever had for you, we can still mention it to people, obviously. But that just shows how predatory they are. I've got a bite on other rod now. Hey, just give me a sec. Got a nice conger eel, he's an absolute beast. I lost one the other week. I ain't losing this one, guys. Very slippery, slimy customer. Now this is again another example why I use this snap clip. Get him off at snap clip. He's heavy. I'm going to get him weighed as well. I ain't got a sling, he can be weighed with hooking him. The tough as old boots these. It's a double, definitely. It's a good 6 foot long, or 5.5. Right, we'll just get him up here where he's not going to do any damage to anything. But that's a hunk of that, boys and girls. Right, let's get my scales out of this contraption that we've got here. It's good done me at the same time aside. The only difference was this time I've been able to having that rubbing leader makes landing them far easier. So we're just going to give them away. They're zeroed. Don't worry, they are. Full mackerel fillet as well, he caught him on. He weighs, he's bang on 10, he's flickering between 9, 12 and 10. I'm just going to call it 10. So, get in. Worth coming down for him, no doubt about that. So I'm just going to put him down there like that. Then I'm going to try and get a picture with him if I can and unhook him. I've had to literally hang you on my tripod, so I'm going to unhook him. He might be rocking about a bit, I don't know. So let's see what damage it's done. Sharp water a bit. Like I say though. Trying to get the hook out of it, so I don't want you to come back with the hook here. I'm getting too wet with it. Stop twisting. reel. Come on. Really happy at the minute. Certainly happy with me. But that, I don't know where you've gone. It's a £10 conger eel, that, guys. There you go. Get in. With that conger eel. Anyway, I've cast that rod back out with that eel and I've just reeled my other one in. I'm going to put that pouted on. It's still hooked on my little rod. It's still, actually I think it's still alive. It can go on as live bait. That caught a dogfish on that, didn't I? Like traditional way of catching a cod. I had to yank the hook out of that conger eel. It's not as bad as you think though. But these hooks are absolutely strong as hell. I think what I'll do is, I know you guys that use the pennel rig for tope fishing, you crush the barb down on that, or use barbless one, don't you, I believe? I think that might be something to bear in mind. He was not coming off, but I'd rather pull the hook out of his mouth. The strong fish, the solid, it's not going to hurt him. It's better off going back without hooking his gob, isn't he? Basically, that's my point. So, yeah, let's carry on, see if we can get another one. Everything kicks off when you put in a brew. I have to make this in a new one now. I'm not really complaining, like. Yeah, so on the two rods on bottom now, I've got mackerel fillet, like the same type of bait that I caught the conger on. I've got, well, it's half dead, half alive if you like, pouting, that I caught when I got that dogfish. And then on the other rod, I just put on that carp rod, I've got a tiny slither of mackerel strip. I mean, it's more sporting hooking dogfish on a carp rod, isn't it, you know? It just keeps you busy, I suppose, but obviously you don't really want to be doing it. It's not good practice when you know tope in the area, is it? I'm not convinced there's any tope about at the moment. Or there's no reason for him to be any about at the moment, I don't think. Not when there's not many mackerel being caught. They've been getting them on Anglesey for the last month or so, I think. They're probably getting most of the year, to be fair, on Anglesey. But yeah. That's what we're fishing like now. We're on right's carp rod. The one I got the conger on and one on left's the other rod. I've had all fish on the same rod, with the same rig, the running ledger rig. The pennel running ledger rig. I don't know if there's anything in that, but it's interesting to know. Apart from obviously the dogfish I had on carp rod and the wrasse and the pouting, but all the big baits I've had using the fish I've had have all been on the pennel running ledger rig. I think that's my PB conger eel, to be fair. I've never weighed one. I caught a decent one last year. What looked, I don't think it was quite as big as that one. Yeah, quite happy with that. Even though I've got my reels kind of on run, so they don't take rod in, because obviously I was messing about spinning earlier with carp rod. It did lift the butt of the rod up and it dropped back down. I thought that could be something decent, so I thought I'd better get on it quick. And I turned it straight away, really. But I'm pretty sure there's some bigger ones off here, I'm convinced. So it was worth getting up for 3 o'clock in the morning for that, I tell you now. Got about, oh, I think my line's just catching on rock actually. Just move the rod a bit higher up. Rest. I think current's like changed. Line went slack. Yeah, but fishing anyway. So yeah, we're worth getting up at. I got up at 3. Set off about 4. We've had to wait quite a way up the tide. It must be a couple of hours after low tide now, that. But they're not very big tides either, so that might be why I've had a bit of crab activity as well. But we'll keep at it as normal, and we'll probably, I don't even know what time it is. I'm going to check time. I said I'd be back for 10. I mean, job done, innit? So I was catching a specimen fish, so delighted with that, to be fair. Still early on in the year as well, but I'm convinced there's bigger off here than that. I am absolutely convinced. A few strange things have happened to me, and you might not think they're eels, but last summer I picked my rod up. Oh, we've got a porpoise. Sorry, we've got a porpoise. Where is he? I don't know if you can see him, guys. It's somewhere over there. See if he puts his thin fin out again. There, do you see him? See if he shows again. I don't know if you saw that, guys. He's there. I don't know why I'm talking to you like we're live. I'm sure he'll pop up again. It looks bloody massive from here, like. It's there. It's definitely a porpoise, I'd say. You watch this. Oh, whatever it is, it looks massive. I wouldn't even know. I don't know if you saw that. They put into perspective size, don't they, them? It just looks a bit different though, to be fair. It looks bigger than a porpoise. Don't know if anyone can identify that from this. He's come up a couple of times. See if he comes up again. Just having camera in the right place when he pops up in it. There's two of them. I don't think they're porpoise, guys. There were a big one and a small one, so I'm guessing it's like a mother and its baby by the looks of it, but I'm not convinced they're porpoise. There might be minke whales, I don't know, they've got grey on them. I'm going to have to Google that when I get back. Yes, so it's been, what a morning. What a morning. Would you want to be anywhere else, really? Well, back at work tomorrow, so yeah, I'm going to have to Google them. I don't know what they are. They look great, a bit of grey. One last bait up. This is the last rod to bait up. Sort of like near a full mackerel. Just going to bang it out. Got a lot of current picking up now, so there's not really much point in staying too much longer. So half hour, then we're going to get off. Doggy on carp rod. Be nice just to finish on a fish with it. You know, if that's the last fish, I'm happy with that. We'll get him back. So that rod's going to be de-rigged now and packed away. So yeah, I'm really happy with today's session. Really am. Really am. It's been good. Right, so that's it. Came down this morning. We've had 3 dogfish, 1 wrasse, 1 bollard wrasse. Great bit of sport carp rod that. We had one of the targeted species we'll come down for. It's a PB, I think. £10 conger reel on a mackerel fillet. Well happy with that because I lost one last week, or week before, sorry. Been here for 4 days. First session at Deep Water Rock Mark. Going back home tonight. It's so made. It's made this morning worthwhile, that fish. It really has. So I'm made up with it, to be honest with you. I also, well, just mentioning spider crab quickly. We had one of them. I also had another one on. I thought I got up to bulls again. There's some right resistance with them when you're reeling them up. I don't know where they've come from because I've never seen them on this side of the peninsula in the whole time I've fished here. I've caught 2 at Porth Coleman before. I've never caught any. It must be something to do with the tide or what's been happening on the seabed. You know where the food is, I'm guessing. But it's not really like a rare catch, is it, that in the UK, catching spider crabs off the shore. So I don't know. I think this might be the last bit of fishing we're doing for this trip. So I'm just really delighted with the amount of subscribers we've got. If you want to see more videos like this, please click subscribe. It's much appreciated. You can find us on Facebook as well. It's just Fishing Squad UK. Same on YouTube, obviously. And just keep the support coming. Plenty more videos, plenty more fish being caught. Personally, I don't believe at the minute there's many channels putting as much effort into this fishing business as we are. We do carp fishing, we do coarse fishing, we do sea fishing. You know, we've even done magnet fishing. Ain't really many channels putting as much effort in as this. We just want to show people what we do, what we catch, how we go about things, how we approach things, and above all, we just want to have fun. That's what it's all about, fishing. You know. So yeah. So get in with that conger reel. Other than that, keep safe, tight lines. From North Wales today, have a good one. Thank you very much. Over and out.